Hey everyone, it's Leszka Nowotarskiego from Leno Music, and today I'll be comparing two alto saxophone mouthpieces. One is Durga 3 and the other is Durga 4. So if you're interested what are differences between these two mouthpieces, please stay with me for a whole episode, which is starting exactly right now. As I mentioned at the beginning, I received two mouthpieces for comparing. One is my own, I own Durga 4. I did make already review of this mouthpiece. Here is the link. But recently, one of my students brought me the comparable mouthpiece, which is Durga 3. So I decided to make a thorough comparison between these two mouthpieces. I also be comparing this mouthpiece. This is Durga 3, but as you can see, this is ebonite mouthpiece. So now let's stick to the metal ones. At the very first glance they look similar, but to examine this very thoroughly I purchased the caliper, so I'll be measure dimensions of this mouthpiece and I will try to show you the differences between these two. So now let's switch to the point one, which are dimensions. For the very first glance, the Durga 3 is a little bit longer than Durga 4. Now let's measure Durga 3 total height. Total height of Durga 3 is 8 centimeters 6 millimeters. And now let's switch to the Durga 4. Durga 4 is shorter, it's 8.4 millimeters. So it's 2 millimeters shorter. Exact diameter of the Durga 3 inside chamber diameter is exactly, as you can see, 1.1 millimeter, 1 centimeter 1 millimeter. So now let's switch to the Durga 4, and the exact diameter of the chamber is, as you can see, also the same, exactly 1 centimeter 1 millimeter diameter inside the chamber. Now let's check inside bore diameter. Exactly 1 centimeter 0.3, and the diameter of Durga 4 is exactly the same. Yeah, diameter should be the same because we all need to stick it to the cork of the neck of the saxophone. So probably it has to have the same size. Now let's examine the baffle, because baffle, as all we know, it determines how we sound on the saxophone. So now let's Durga 3. Durga 3 baffle is exactly 1 centimeter 0.6 millimeter baffle, whereas Durga 4 has baffle 1.7 and a half. So this is the difference also in the baffles. Durga 3 has a little bit shorter baffle. Let's check the facing opening. I'm not able to measure it with the caliper. I need to measure it by drawing a line on the reed. I will draw a line on the reed where exactly the facing opening starts. I need to put the reed exactly at the end of the mouthpiece. So it's I'll need to be very careful. Okay, so here we are. And the tip opening starts about here. So I'll make a point here on the reed. And now let's switch to the Durga 4. And let's see if the tip opening is exactly the same. The line of the tip opening starts at the same point that in Durga 3. Yeah, the tip opening facing curve is exactly the same. They're both 8 numbers. This Durga 3 has number 1886, whereas mine Durga 4 has 1984. So this is the serial numbers of these mouthpieces. As I told in my review, they're produced in a small series. There are a couple thousand mouthpieces like Durga 3 and they're switched to Durga 4. So all series are not produced continuously. Okay, so these are the measurements. Characteristic of these mouthpieces: large baffle and big opening. The chamber is rather rounded. I think it's fully open. Difference in chamber in these mouthpieces that they're both fully open chamber mouthpieces, but in Durga 3 there are kind of railings. We can see the railings inside the mouthpiece, whereas in Durga 4 the chamber is clear, no signs of scratches inside. They're mainly used in smooth jazz, blues, nowadays so-called pop music. They're not used for a traditional jazz like jazz from 50s. They do not sound like vintage Otto Links or Berg Larsen. So if you wanna play vintage jazz, probably you should pick the other mouthpiece. These mouthpieces are reserved for genres like smooth jazz, pop, R&B, as well as blues. Okay, now let's switch to the most important part of my test, which is of course practical test. I'll do the recordings. I also put the extra recording of these mouthpieces. This is, as I mentioned, Durga 3, but this is plastic, hard rubber, ebonite mouthpiece. I'll be using Van Doren V16. The strength is 3, but it was too stuffy for me at the very beginning, so I re-geeked that to about 2.5, and I did the scratches, and now it fits perfectly for this mouthpiece. So it is 3 scratch to about 2.5, and I'll be showing you now how they both sound, how they both compare to each other. And additionally, I also put the recording of Durga 3 Ebonite 1. So now let's hear the differences between these two mouthpieces. I'm done with testing, what you can hear, they vary to each other. The differences are not so small. I thought that these mouthpieces would sound similar to each other, but no. Definitely Durga 4 is brighter one. It's probably because of this baffle, which is longer, about 2 millimeters. So probably this is the reason why this mouthpiece sounds significantly brighter. If I had to choose between them, I would probably stick with Durga 3 because Durga 4 for me is too bright. I don't like so many high frequencies in saxophone, so Durga 3 sounds perfectly for me, and Durga 4 probably I will need to look for a different maybe reeds, maybe look for a different setup of this ligature. Actually, I'm not a huge fan of this ligature. Probably I will remove it and I will switch to the Rovner or the other ligature, because this one is it makes scratches on the table of the mouthpiece, so every time I need to put something between ligature and the table of the mouthpiece, because this ligature makes marks on the table of the mouthpiece. But trust me, they're both great mouthpieces. They sound perfectly. I don't have any problems with reaching the low notes, low register. I can reach altissimo, no problem. Sound, as you heard, is typically for a smooth jazz purposes. That's all, folks, for today. I hope you enjoyed this comparison between these high-end, excellent, brilliant mouthpieces. I really enjoyed playing on these. Of course, I didn't say anything about the price. The price is also high. It's about $600. So for this price, you can buy slightly used Yamaha 280, or I don't know, brand new Chinese saxophone, maybe even 2 brand new Chinese saxophones. But of course, we don't pay for a amount of material, we pay for the researches. Thank you very much for today's episode. If you like it, please give me the thumb up. If you like, you can also subscribe my channel so you won't miss anything what comes out of my channel in the future. You can also support my channel on the Patronite.pl. So thank you very much, take care, and goodbye. See you in the next episode. Leszek Nowotarski from Leno Music. Take care.